Hey everybody, it's Bronco from Apex Vaulting. I haven't done one of these videos in a while. It's been super busy outdoors, but want to start these back up. And today, I kind of want to talk about one of my athletes, Shawn. We have him here. Very interesting story about his training the last, month and a half, 2 months? How long have you been training?
2 months.
2 months since you've been done with school. Shawn, can you explain a little bit about what your teammates and coaches at school were so shocked by about your senior year of high school? Walk us through the training you did this year, and then we'll talk about what we've done for the last month and a half.
All right, so in high school, mostly practice here. I would maybe go to a 5 at most, and I was on probably 1465, maybe 70 at best. And
right.
Then at meets, I would end up on 1565 and jump significantly higher from a 7. So I never practiced a 7 or even a 6. And then when I went to school this year.
And just to add, because one of the things that I think the problem with the pole vault community for everybody listening is we keep worrying about what the jump looks like, and we're not looking at numbers, right? So even in practice, the most you would hit is a 45 mid, but then we would go to the meets and you'd start to get into that 48 range. At least senior year of high school, and obviously, like you said, we go from that 1465 all the way up to a 1565, and the grip would go up significantly too, because I think, in practice, what would you grip, 13.3?
Yeah, probably 13 at most.
Yeah, and then at meets, we went as high as 14.3, but typically 13.9, 14.
Yeah.
So, okay.
And then at school, I started to practice a lot of, this year, full approaches. And I tested out my 7s and my 6s in practice.
And you guys were spiking up too, right?
Yeah. And my body wasn't too happy about that. My shins fell apart. I pulled my hamstring. And overall, even at the meets when I was healthy, I was not performing. My best mark was 15.
Yeah, I mean, again, just to give enough details, it's at Apex, we're not wearing spikes. We're not doing full approach. We're not jumping on our biggest poles. And I think the thing that people don't understand, because I think the rest of the pole vault world constantly thinks you have to get used to a pole. But the thing is, you don't have to get used to a pole. What you have to do is get used to the pole speed and swing speed to match up. That's what people have to get used to. And it's not about getting used to the pole. Because I always tell people, if you're used to a pole, guess what? It's probably gonna be too small at the next meet, And go into a little bit more detail. How did you feel your senior year of high school as far as training and what you were expecting going to meets versus what happened this year? How did you feel about your training going to meets? What was the thought process? How did you feel about the meets going into it? And look, side note, I always tell people, don't worry about your feelings. We got to worry about numbers. Numbers matter, but walk people through that.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Because in high school, all my numbers were tracked, my lifts and my grips and my pulls in practice. So I could tell if everything was going to line up. Every meet I PR'd, I kind of knew I was going to PR going in. I kind of walked in, knowing I was going to know exactly what I was going to jump, just because the numbers lined up and everything was so dialed.
Right.
But this year I definitely, every meet I was just kind of praying that I would finally have a good meet, and it never came.
Yeah, and then even led to an injury, you know. And this is the thing, I think in the track world, there's a lot of people that will talk about numbers, or they'll talk about training modalities, right? People talk about linear, periodization, conjugate, people will talk about the Olympic lifts and getting explosive, but then it's they literally apply no periodization to pole vault, right? And it's we need to plan this out. I can't just max you out all the time. I think everybody out there would agree. It's you can't just max out your squat every single lift session. You're gonna burn out, you're gonna cause an injury, and then you're gonna plateau and actually start to squat worse. But in the pole vault, we're nah, dude, you gotta go back. We gotta hit that big pole. Come on. I, as the coach, have to know that you're comfortable on that big pole. And the thing is, that sounds like a you problem if that's your coach out there thinking like that. For me, I have to know that you know how to vault, you know how to move the pole, you know how to swing on the pole, and then when we go to the meet, I know the numbers will be better, you know? why don't you walk everybody through, like, what have we done for the last 2 months since you come back from college? Because you're coming back from the hamstring, right? You know, maybe even like, you know, you got to bring up your Achilles thing, but like, yeah, explain what's happened as you've come back.
So when I first got back, I was pretty much healed with the hamstring. Just took it as slow as we could.
Yeah.
And I don't even think I've done a 5-year this summer.
No.
A 4 is the furthest I've gone. And then the Achilles started to hurt. So I've only been able to vault once a week, or I'll be doing zeros twice a week. And then once a week I'll do 4.
Yeah, and just so for everybody listening, like a 0 literally means you do not run. Like you are starting with the pulse hip in the box, you take a step back, right, with your right foot if you're righty, and then you just like kind of lean forward and we work on the jump. Like you can literally do the takeoff, swing, turn, and push off from 0 left. That's what we've been doing twice a week, and then we've gone back to a 4 once a week. The other thing, and you know, we've kind of switched things up a little bit just because I think, especially with a compressed window, for anybody who's listening, linear periodization block training kind of works in track because we know when the championship is going to happen. But I think on a long enough timeline, there's kind of some downfalls to linear periodization. And especially now, like in Shawn's situation, I only have like 3 months before he goes back to school. So I don't really have time, right? So we've kind of switched to a conjugate method. We're doing these static dynamic squats where we time the bar speed, right? And we're waving, you know, from 5 reps down to 2 reps and then back up. And then we're also doing stuff with pull-ups and bench and so on and so forth. And we're also doing these dumbbell jumps where we measure the jumps. But again, it's numbers based. Like we know the weights, we know the bar speed, we know how high we're jumping, right? We know what weights we're benching, right? And we're constantly rotating that. We went to a meet 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
We did a 5. What were some of the? Do you remember what were some of the numbers there? What was the grip, pull? What'd you jump?
I was on I think I got on a 1565. I gripped 14 to clear 14.
6 or 7, I forget.
Yeah, something in that range. And yeah, it was a 5. My mids were probably like 49.
I think you were hitting 48, 45,
yeah.
maybe a little bit behind. So again, this is like, we're just doing a 4 once a week, we're doing the zeros, and then this week we went to a meet, right? Now again, like all year at school, we're doing full approaches, we're spiking up, we're not doing any of that. What happened at the meet this weekend?
We went to a 6.
And we didn't practice it.
No.
Because I just want to go into that a little bit. The thing that I feel like people don't understand too is like making these adjustments, right? Like going back a left or whatever. It's just numbers.
Yeah.
Like
go back however many feet.
Yeah, like you just have to run. Like when people start to talk to me about rhythm or timing, I really feel like people have like a really wonky viewpoint about that stuff and they don't realize how much that's holding them back. Like you need to train your athletes just to progressively run faster down the runway, and then it's like you have to plant at a certain distance from the box and you pole vault. This isn't that complicated, right? And so it's very easy. Like if we did a 5, we just, I think we added, what did you add to go back to a 6? 12 feet?
Yeah, 12
Yeah,
roughly.
yeah, and then obviously you know where to start. Like, you know, again, you have to go percentage-wise, but it's like, you know, if you just bump the grip up like maybe like 5%, a little bit less, you know, go up 1 pole, like that's an easy adjustment. You go back to the 6, and what happened at the meet this weekend?
I ended up getting on a 1570, gripping 14.3, and I jumped 15.8-ish.
15.7 and 3/4
yeah.
if we want to be specific. So you had a little PR, right? Because lifetime best was 15.6 from high school.
Yep.
You're only at a 6, which again, also for people out there, I just want to throw this out there. It's very important. Even if you look at those charts that tell you if you jump this from a 3, you should jump this from a 7, your 3 left is roughly 80 to 85% of your max potential. This is why I find it laughable when I see professionals post and they go, short run day, we did a 7. Like, you're already at 95% plus of your max capacity. This is ridiculous. And it's like, that's not a short run. So look, a 6 is already like, we're at 90+% of whatever your max potential is. But point being is, it wasn't difficult. You didn't get rejected. You weren't running through the whole meet. Did you feel like you were scared to jump at the meet?
No, definitely not. No.
Yeah, and it's like you just kind of very, nonchalantly PR'd. Whereas like for everybody who gives me pushback about the full approach stuff, I mean the thing is like all these people that are like, no, you got to do your full approach. No, you got to practice in your big pole. They're all complaining about the same stuff. It's like, oh, my athletes have run through issues. Oh, they have mental blocks. You don't have a mental block. You have a training block. Your training is messing up your jumping. I think the pole vault community, and I would love to know what you think, Shawn, before we wrap this up, but it's like, I think people have to start thinking about training, and they have to think about pole vaulting as a training thing. Like you have to train the vault. You can't just constantly do your long run. You can't just try to get on a big pole. You have to actually train to get on a big pole. Like what's preventing you on getting a higher grip? What's preventing you from getting on a bigger pole? Is it your takeoff? Is it your swing? Is it your turn? Is it your running form?
Yeah.
I don't know. These are all things that need to be trained. Any closing thoughts before we end this?
No, I definitely agree. And I think it all should be based on numbers rather than feel.
Yeah. We don't care about your feelings. We care about your numbers. Have a good one. Thanks, Shawn.